Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we are going to be doing a paint video, which you know here at Born in a Barn, I love doing paint product videos. Today we're going to be working on a brand new paint together. I have never tried this. It's a newer paint on the market, and let me just show you what it is. It is called Melange Paints. It has been circulating around the internet, and now we're going to try it together. We're going to be brushing it in one segment and spraying it in another. So let's just dive in and get started. Okay, so I always start by stirring up my paint. I also like to show you guys the consistency of the paints when I'm doing a paint product. This is a nice thin consistency, as you can see it falling right off the stick. We're using Fathom Blue, which is a really beautiful navy blue. So I always start with my Cling On F50 brush, as you guys know on these paint videos, and a prepped and primed clean board to go ahead and start with. You always want to start with a clean piece of furniture. In this case, it's a clean board. It's been degreased, deglossed, and scuffed. I find that it's going on really nice and easy with this first coat. As you can see, my brush is not too heavily loaded. You do want to do nice, thin, even coats, and that may require you to do more coats, but it will save you in the end from having too much paint on your piece and having pooling issues or just not having it look like a really good finish. Okay, that's what we look like after the first coat. It's been about an hour and we're ready for recoat time. All right, so we're going in for our second coat. I am going to load up a little bit more paint for the second coat, and as you see, I have my water bottle and sanding sponge there, which you can use if necessary. I didn't find that I needed to use either of them, to be honest with you. The second coat went on really, really well and was gliding very easily. Sometimes you'll feel a pull or a drag. I did not feel that at all, so it was very easy to apply this second coat. And here I just want to show you how much up close that I have on the paintbrush. All right, here we are after an hour of the second coat being dry. Look how beautiful that finish is. I want to give you guys a final view before we move on to our spraying segment. This is it here. It is absolutely beautiful. I like to show you a couple of the different angles just so you guys can really see what it looks like. And I'm super happy with the way it came out. Let's go ahead and move on to the spray segment and then we'll recap. Okay, part of working with older vintage furniture, just know you need to be flexible. Sometimes things don't work out. I had to completely scrap my plan in the middle of my filming here and start from scratch with a different piece. So I switched up on my color too. So we're gonna be switching over to their Galaxy Gray, which is a really beautiful light neutral gray with kind of a warm undertone. I've already got it loaded up here in my spray gun and we're gonna get ready to go in just a minute. One thing I want to address is thinning the paint. Yes, I had to thin this. How much? That's going to depend on several different things. So I'm not going to give you an exact formula. I cannot. It's just, it changes depending on the paint you're using, the sprayer you're using, but I did have to dilute it. So that is going to be something, if you're spraying, to take note on. You will have to dilute. My recommendation is to use a viscosity cup because each paint is different. The sweet spot for running through a viscosity cup for a really good consistency would be about 40 to 45 seconds. Okay, here's our before photo. Let's get started. So what I want you guys to see here is I'm starting with the piece upside down. Anytime I'm working with a piece that's got legs like this, I turn it upside down first, so that's how we're going to go ahead and get started. So for today's video, I'm using my Urlix 5500 spray station. I absolutely love this. It's my go-to. I use it every day. I do have two spray systems, and I get asked often why I would use one over another, and more or less it's just a convenience thing. But today we're going to go ahead and use the Urlix. As you can see, I'm just working on getting the paint on. I'm not too concerned at this point when I'm starting off trying to cover the piece. It's just like brushing. You don't want to layer up too much paint, especially with a sprayer, because what's going to happen is you're going to end up getting runs and drips all over. So the idea is just to get your paint on and realize that you're going to repeat the process, depending on your color, at least 3 times. Usually darker colors will tend to cover a little bit faster and better, but with the lighter colors, just keep in mind spraying is going to be about 3 coats. So here I'm just kind of moving all over the piece, trying to make sure I get everything kind of covered. I'm not worried about covering every single square inch of this piece, and knowing that I'm going to have all types of little crevices and things to go back and get. That's what I'll pick up on my second and third coat. Also, you'll note that I don't have a ton of overspray. Part of spraying is trying to figure out how to adjust your spray nozzle so that you don't have a ton of overspray. I do not paint in a booth, as you can see. I'm in my open shop. Everything is covered to make sure that I don't get any overspray if there were to be any on any of my finished pieces. However, as you can see, I keep it really well controlled so that I don't have that problem. It's been 1 hour and we're ready to go ahead and recoat. I have to say the coverage is really good. Just know, you guys, that any paint is not going to give you full-on coverage, and don't try to get it, especially when you're spraying, because what will happen is you'll get it on there too thick. It'll take too long to dry. You can possibly have runs. So you just want to make sure you go with nice, light, easy coats. The lighter colors typically take 2 to 3 coats if you're not priming. You guys saw the color of this was kind of a mid-tone greenish brown factory finish. But I have to say, I mean, that's one coat. That is pretty darn good. So let's go ahead and get the second coat on. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and flip it on over because it's ready to go. The legs have been coated really, really well, and I'm comfortable now going ahead and flipping it and getting the rest of the piece all painted. Okay, so something perfect, which really isn't perfect, happened, but it's perfect to share with you guys in this video. If you can't already see it, I'm gonna point it out. This little area here that kind of has that weird squiggly pattern, what is that? It's where the paint is not adhering the same because there's something on the surface that's preventing that from happening. When I bought this piece, it had a very sweet smell. So it's either a candle or some sort of an oil that was spilled. Now keep in mind, this piece has been completely prepped with a deglosser, degreaser, steel wool, scuff sanded, and wiped down. So it has been prepped totally appropriately. It just was not primed because I didn't see the need to prime it with this color paint and the fact that it wasn't going to be a bleeder. However, that doesn't mean that reactions can't still come up and pop through the paint. So what do you do? Well, this is a perfect opportunity for me to show you. There's a couple of different things you can do when this happens. In this case, it doesn't feel any different. It's not actually repelling the paint. I'm gonna get in there really close. It's just discolored. So there's a couple of things we can do. We're gonna start by the most simple thing, and that is going ahead and scuff sanding this first coat and laying down another coat and see if that makes any difference. Sometimes if you do that, you don't have to move to the next step, which would be priming. So what I'm gonna go ahead and use right now is this fine grit sanding sponge. These are linked below in my Amazon shop, but a lot of times when I have something that's funky, like this, or maybe it's just a little bit rough and I want to smooth it out, then I go ahead and just use my sanding pad. I'm going back and forth. Okay, perfect. You can actually see where whatever that is underneath, I'm getting to it with my sanding pad. So see, even though this was prepped really well and cleaned and scuff sanded, sometimes things just still happen. I have a feeling, like I said, it was some sort of an oil. So I'm going to continue to scuff sand this. And we're not going to start with priming it right off the bat. We're going to go ahead and scuff sand this and see if we can lay down a second coat and see if that has any better adhesion. I just take my microfiber cloth and I go ahead and I wipe down the area. So we're going to go ahead and try to paint over this and see if this adheres any better now that we've gone ahead and sanded that down. This is still drying, but I wanted to show you guys it doesn't seem to be an issue. So that was an easy fix. Now, let's just say that I scuff sanded like I showed you and laid my paint down and it did not cover and it still had the same issue. Then I would go ahead, let that dry, scuff sand it again, and prime that area. You can definitely prime over paint. It is not an issue. I am going to go ahead and lay down one more coat. Because I had to scuff sand it, you can see where you can still see a little bit of the difference in between the colors. So there's better coverage here and I need more coverage back there. But the reaction itself has been fixed and it's all gone. So I'm going to go ahead and add one more coat to the top and then I will be done. So here's my handy little trick when I have a flush mount drawer and I need to make sure that I paint either the top or the sides. I get a screwdriver, I pull the drawer out because I don't want to touch the wet drawer. And I just use a piece of recycled cardboard that I keep in my shop. I go ahead and line it up so it's nice and flush, and then I spray the top. So that way I don't have to take the entire drawer out if I don't want to. So here I'm showing you using the sanding sponge again after I've done several coats. You can use this to either smooth it out, or if you've gotten maybe something's floated in there, lint or anything like that, you can smooth it out before you go ahead and top coat it. So here I'm just doing a light little scuff sand, and then once I'm done with that, I will take my microfiber cloth. I'll go ahead and wipe it down just to make sure there's no excess dust, and then it's ready either for its next coat or its top coat. Okay, you guys, I said that they had 40 colors. They actually have 48, so I wanted to make a correction there as well. They said they had 4 sizes. They have 1, 4, 8, 16, and 32 ounce. That's a huge variety, and their price point is $2.99 to $29.99. What I used today was the 16-ounce size. Okay, you guys, we are at the point now where we're going to go ahead and top coat it, and yes, this does require a top coat for maximum durability and longevity of your product, okay? So we are going to go ahead today and use my all-time favorite, which is General Finishes High Performance Top Coat. I use satin all the time. I use it for painted projects, stained projects, and it doesn't matter what the brand of paint I'm using. That's my go-to top coat. You can choose what works for you and what you like. I spray all my top coats, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch out now because I have a different top coating gun, and we'll go ahead and top coat it, and I'll show you how well that goes on. Now, if you wanna sand in between coats, before you go ahead and top coat, you absolutely can. Just make sure you wipe your piece down with a microfiber cloth, get away any loose dust. I will tell you the feel of this. It has that chalky feel. Mineral and chalk paints are gonna have that feel. They're more matte and they have a little bit, I wouldn't even call it rough. It just feels kind of chalky, but we're gonna take care of that. As soon as we go ahead and top coat it, you will feel that no more and it will be like butter. So let me go get my gun. I'm gonna show you the piece before we go ahead and top coat it just so you can see. It came out absolutely beautiful. As you can tell, no longer have, that's where we were having that reaction issue and that weird look. It is absolutely gone with just our little bit of scuff sanding and recoating. So I did take the drawer out so I could go ahead and get inside there. It is all ready to go and ready for its top coat, but it came out absolutely beautiful. The coverage was about 3 coats spraying, and I would suggest that any light color you're going to use 3 to 4 coats. All right, you guys, it's top coat time, so let's go ahead and get this on. Again, I'm using the General Finishes High Performance Top Coat in satin. I'm gonna go ahead and speed you up. All right, you guys, that is it. We are at the end of the video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. And the one thing that I like to mention in these type of videos is just because a product works for me doesn't mean it's gonna work for you. I might love it, but you might not. And that's okay. The videos that I put out are my opinion on a product. If I love it or hate it, it doesn't mean you're going to feel the same way. I just like to be able to put out as much product knowledge as I can about something that's new to me and share it with you guys so that you can make a decision before you go invest in that product. I personally really loved the way that this Melange paint went on. I loved the fact that it brushed as well as it sprayed. That's not always the case. So I'm really happy with my final project, and the brushing segment, it went on so nice. It's sandable. You can use water with your application to make that go on easier. It had great coverage, and 40 colors is a great color selection to choose from. Also, having the different sizes and their price points are right on with everybody else that's out there in the market with paints. So it's a very reasonably priced product. Again, thank you very much for joining me today, and I will catch you on the next video. What I do want to say before I go is if you have any positive comments, positive only, please. There's no room for any negativity here, and it'll just get removed. Or any questions. I will always answer every question that you guys ask. I love engaging with you guys. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please remember to subscribe and hit that post notification bell so you can get all my newest videos every time they come out. I always like to let you guys know if this was not enough information and you need something more. I do offer one-on-one lessons which can be purchased direct from my website, which I will put right here, and you guys can go check that out. Thank you again, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Bye-bye. Also, I want to mention that Melange Paints was kind enough to give me a discount code for you guys, and that discount code is BARN10. I will also put it in the comments below and up here on the screen, BARN10, which will be 10% off of anything you order.